text function, this converts a value to text in the specified number format. Okay, so in this problem, this is similar to the weekday function, which returned the days of the week as 1 to 7. So here in this problem, we're going to be in this problem. Here in this problem, the output will not be in numerical, but it will be alphabetically. Okay, so what's the question? The question is map the date in the calendar to its corresponding day of the week. Okay, so we're going to segregate the date in the calendar to its corresponding day of the week. So let's just head on to our desktop. So to solve that problem, we just head on to new column. Let's just create a new column, and we'll call that column name of the day. Name of the day is equal to, and then we'll use a function called format. So you can see it over here, format, and it said it converts a value to text in the specified number format. So we have the first argument here, which is the value. So our value will be the date column over here. So we say calendar, which is a table name. So we have calendar and we have the date. You click it over here. Our format is going to be, let's say a quotation, and you put D, and let's close the quotation. And then once you're done with that, you close the bracket and just hit enter. So let's just see our name of the day. So it is in numerical value. So let's just increase the D, and we'll see what we're going to have. Let's hit enter. Okay, you can now see when it was D, it was in a single numerical value, but now it has 0 attached to the to it. So you have 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 2. So let's just increase the D. Let's just put another D, and we'll keep seeing it. Okay, so once you've seen that, once you've put 3 Ds over here, we now have a name of the day in letters. Okay, in alphabet. You can see it over here, and this alphabet is in 3 letters. So if you want it to be in full word, you just come here and increase the D. They just hit enter. So we have successfully solved the problem. So we can now see the name of the day in full. We can see we have Thursday here, and this is Thursday, Friday, and this is Friday. Okay, so let's head on to the next question. The combined value function, this combines the given set of operands using a specified delimiter. So a delimiter is any character with which you want to separate each input string with. So concatenate function helps us concatenate multiple strings into one text strings. Okay, so using we're going to be using concatenate functions in solving the next question, and as well as we'll also be using the combined values function to solve a problem, and we'll see how to use these functions. Okay, so the next problem statement is, from the given customer data set, combine the first name and the last name to form the customer full name. So now we want to combine the first name of the customer with the last name. So let's just head on to our Power BI desktop and solve that problem. So to solve this problem, we go to our customers table. Let's get to our customer table. Okay, so you can see in our customer table, we have in our customers table we have the first name and the last name. So we're going to join these 2 columns together. So to do that, we head on to new column. Okay, call it full name. And then we are going to use a function. We are going to use a function called concatenate. So concatenate. So you can see the function over here. We click on it. So our concatenate function joins 2 text strings into one text string. So you can see the first argument here. We have concatenate function. The first argument is text 1. So the first text is the first column, which is first name, and the next text is going to be last name. So we just write the customer table, and then you're going to see the first name. So we just click on the first name, and then we put a comma. So the next argument is the text 2, which is customer last name, customer table, and then we check through the last name over here. So once you're done, we just close the bracket and then hit enter. Okay, so we can see our column here over here. The new column we've just created is the full name, and you can notice that the names are joined together and there's no space. So you can have Sheldon Carlson being joined together. So you can come over here, you see Sheldon Carlson. Sheldon is the first name and Carlson is the last name, and so these names are joined together without a space. So in this case, we're going to use another function to be able to solve this problem so that there will be a space here. So the next function we're going to be using is combined value function. Let's just delete this. We use combined value function. You can see it over here. And then in the combined value function, it's a combined given set of opera using a specified delimiter. So in the combined value function, and we can actually join more than one text string together. But in the concatenate function, we can only join only two text strings together. But in the combine value function, we can combine more than two text strings, and it will be separated by a delimiter, which is going to be expressed. So you can see over here the first argument is delimiter. So which the delimiter that we're going to be using is a space, because we need a space from one name to another. So we put a quotation mark, and then we keep a space, okay, and then the next argument is the expression one. So the first expression, we're going to use the prefix over here, Mr. Like this word Mr. Shadow Castle. We're going to use this the first expression here, which is the prefix. So you just come over here and just type customer table, and then you are going to see the prefix. See the prefix here. So we click on it, and then we say comma. So the next expression two, we're going to say the first name. So customer here, and you see the first name here, you just click on it. So the next one is going to be the last name. So we come here, just click the last name, and then we close the bracket and click and hit enter. Okay, so we can see our column here over here, our full name column, which is the prefix Mr. and the first name Shadow Castle, and the space is being separated by the delimiter space. Okay, so we have solved that problem. You can see other rows over here. Okay, so let's just enter. Let's just get to the next question. The left and find function. Left function returns the specified number of characters from the start of the text string, while the find function returns the starting position of one text string within another text string. And then in this problem, we are also going to use the upper function. This makes all the character in capital. So you can also use another function called the lower function. It all makes all the characters to be in the lower case. Okay, so this question is from the given email address, extract the username. Okay, so we're going to go to our customer table where we're going to see that. Okay. Okay, so we can see an email address over here. So we want to extract the username. We want to extract the first name over here before the ask character. Okay. So you can see like Shadow 38. So we want to extract this text string, and I want to extract this username over here before the character asks over here. So to do that, we create a new column. Okay, so we're going to create a new column, and we call it username. Okay, so we want to extract the username from the email address over here. So we say username is equal to, we're going to use a function called let. So we can see the function over here. So this function let returns the specified number of characters from the start of the text string. So we return the number of characters from the start of any text string. So the first argument here is the text over here. So we're going to use, so the first argument is the text. So we use this column called the email address. So we say customer, and you see the email address over here. You just click on it. So the number of characters is going to be 4. So we need a character to be four letters. So we want 4 letters to show up as the username. So we put there 4, and then we close the brackets and then hit enter. Okay, so we can see our new column here called the username, and you can see the first 4 letters has shown up. You can see it over here. We're going to use the find function now to extract. We can see from the email address we want to extract this name Shadow 38. Okay, so we're going to use a find function to do that, to extract the whole of this username before they add. So when you come here, we use, in place of these 4, we use find function over there. You can see a find function here. You click. So this find function returns the starting position of one text string with another text string. So find is case sensitive. Okay, so we can see the argument here for find function. So the first argument is find text. Okay, so the find text is the character. Okay, the last character that we want to extract the whole of the text string. Okay, so that character is the at character. You can see over here. So we want to extract Shadow 38 at. So the last character is at. So the first argument there we use at. Okay, we put in quotation. Okay, put comma. So the next argument is within text. So we're going to use the customer email address there. So once you're done, you just click enter. Okay, so we can see our username over here. It has extracted the username Shadow 38 as JC9 at. Okay, so you can see over here in the email address. So, but we're looking for Shadow 38. So we are going to remove this at character over here. So to remove this at character, we are going to input -1 here for it to remove. So after where you have the find function, the last bracket that closes the find function, we put -1 over there because we want one character to be removed. Okay, so we can see over here -1. So that we want to remove this last character here, which is the at character. So you come here to put -1. So when you click enter, okay, so you can see that the at character is no more there. Okay, so if you want to you want to turn this lowercase to uppercase, I want to make it in capital letters, you just come over here and write another function called the upper function. You can see it over here, upper function. So I come over here and close this. So the upper function convert the text string to all uppercase. Okay, so we close that bracket over here. We close the upper function over here. Once you are done, we click enter. Okay, so we can see over here that the letters are now in capitals. Okay, so we have solved that problem. Let's get to another problem. So the next problem is the if function. So the if function, it is used only when we have two outputs. Okay, that is whether the condition is either true or false. So we have the if function. We have the if function in the spreadsheet, which is Excel, and we also have the if function here in Power BI. So it is used only when we have two outputs. So that is the condition is either true or false. So this problem, let's look at this problem. Map the date in the calendar to its corresponding day of the week. Okay, so we're going to segregate the dates in the calendar to its corresponding day of the week. So let's head on to a Power BI. So let's head on to our sales table. Okay, so you can see in our sales table that we had a column called day number. So we want to separate it from the weekdays and weekend. So we say that from Monday to Friday, which is from 1 to 5, we are going to segregate it as weekday, and from 6 to 7, where we have 6 to 7, we segregate and call it weekends. Okay, so that is the problem we're going to solve now. So we head on to our new column. Okay, so we call that column week status. We call that column week status. Week status is equal to, and then we use the if function here. Okay, you can see the if function here. Click on it. So if function checks whether a condition is met and return one value if true and another value if false. So the first argument is the logical text. Okay. So our first logical text is our day number column. So you can see the day number column over here. So we start with the sales table. Once you write the sales, you see the column that we had created a day number over here. So you click on day number. So the next you put comma. Okay, so once you select the column called day number, so we want to say if the day number column is greater than, so the value in the day number column, where if is greater than, so we say if the day number column is greater than 5, if the day number column is greater than 5, we want it to return weekend. So if the day number column is greater than 5, we want it to return weekends. You put it in quotation, double quotation. Okay, and then once you're done, you put a comma. So and the next argument, if the sales day number is greater than 5, we want it to give us weekend. But if it's less than 5, we want it to give us weekday. So once you've done that, you close the bracket, you click enter. Okay, so you can see our week status here. So whenever we have a day number that is between 1 to 5, it will return weekday. So once we have day number that is 6 to 7, it will return weekend. So we can see over here where we have weekends. Okay, we have 7 here, that is the Sunday, which is the weekend, 6, which is the weekend, and we can see 5 here, which is the weekday. So we have solved that problem. Let's head on to the next problem. So the next problem is the nested if function. So the nested if function, it is used when we expect more than 2 outputs. Okay, so when we expect more than 2 outputs, like the if function. So if this condition is true, we can see that it will display true, but if it's not true, it will display false. But in the nested if function, it is used when we expect more than 2 outputs. So let's solve this problem. We'll get to understand how to use the nested if function. So the question is, based on the annual income, customers are eligible for membership card pay the below criteria. So if it's less than 70,000, we are going to say no card. So if it's less than 90,000, it's going to display silver card. So if it's less than 140,000, it will display platinum card. So the rest, which is going to be gold card. Okay, so we mark the customers according to the card they are eligible. So let's get on to Power BI to solve that problem. So we go to our customer table to solve that problem. So this is our customer table. So we head on to new column. Okay, so we're going to put a column called card type. Card type is equal to, so in the nested if function, in the nested if function, we start with the if function. So we have the if function here. So the if function checks whether a condition is met and return one value if true and another value if false. So we're going to use the column here for the first logical test is the column here where we have the annual income. Okay, so we say customer and then we check through annual income column. You can see over here we click. Okay, so our annual income column. So we say if the annual income is less than 70,000, if the annual income is less than 70,000, we want it to display no card. So if the customer annual income is less than 70,000, we want it to display no card. And then the next if function is called nested if function. We combine multiple if function. So the next condition is if the customer annual income is less than 90,000, we want it to display silver card. So the next if function, the next condition is if the annual income of the customer is less than 140,000, we want it to display gold card. So the next condition is if the annual income of the customer is less than 140,000, we want it to display platinum card. Less than 140,000, want it to display platinum card. So if these three conditions are not met, if these three conditions are false, then this condition will be met. So if these three conditions does not met, the next condition you call it. So if these three conditions does not met, you want it to display gold card. Okay, so these three conditions that we have just written out, if it does not, if it's not true, it will display gold card. Okay, so once you're done, we just click on enter. So we can see our new column here, which is the card type. So you can see the silver card. If it's less than 70,000, you want it to be silver card. So we can come over here, just click on this filter. You can see all of them over here: the gold card, no card, platinum card. Okay, so if we want to have a view of only the gold card, just come here and click gold card, and then we click enter. So you can see the gold card value over here. So all the customers that have the annual income that is more than 140,000, you can see it that is more than 140,000, we give it a gold card. So this one has, the first one has 160,000, the next one 150,000. So let's just see those that have silver card. So you come here, just come over here, and then you see those that have silver card only. Want to have a view of those that have only silver card, you come over and click OK. Okay, so you can see customers that has golden card over silver cards, customer that has silver card over here. Okay, so we just keep it to, we select all, just select all and okay. Okay, so we have solved that problem. Let's get on to the next question. The AND function, this takes all the conditions that are expected, and only if all the conditions are met is the result of the AND function. So all the conditions have to be met for it to become true. Okay, so let's look at the problem statement to get to understand how to use the AND function. So example of the AND function: based on the below criteria, segregate your target customers. So we segregate based on gender, M, which is the male, and the marital status S, and the income, annual income greater than 400,000. So we are going to segregate them based on these three conditions. Okay. Let's get on to our Power BI to solve that problem. We get to understand how to use the AND function and the AND operators. Okay. So let's get on to our Power BI. Okay. So just get on to our new column. So we are going to write the column name. We call it target customer. Then we use a function called AND function. Okay, we see the function here. We can see the AND function here. So the AND function checks whether all arguments are true, and it will return true if all the arguments are true. Okay, so the first logical test is, so we can see the argument is in the AND function. The AND function has only two arguments. Okay, so we can only accumulate only two arguments, which is logical test 1 and logical test 2. So for my question here, we add up to 3 conditions over here. You can see it from here. We need to segregate based on gender, marital status, and annual income. Okay, so these are 3 conditions. But for the AND function, we can only use 2 arguments over here. So the AND function, the first argument is we have customer. Customer will look for gender. Okay, so we see customer gender. So the next argument is the marital status. So customer marital status, and then once you've done that, you close the bracket, and then we click enter. So the AND function, the first logical test there is the first column, which is the gender column. So we say customer, and then we check to the gender column, and we say if the gender is equal to open a quotation mark M. So that was the condition. If the gender is equal to M, and we put a comma. So the next logical test is the marital status, and you want to segregate. You want the next argument is the marital status, and it has to be a single, which is S. So we say customer marital status must be equal to S. Okay. So once you've done that, we close the bracket and hit enter. So we can see our table, our column here. You can see our column here called target customer, and the first row is true. Okay. We can see the next one is true. If we go down, you see false over here. So which means that the first row here, this customer called Mr. Sheldon Carlson, we can see that it is a male and is a single. Okay. So the next customer here, which is Mr. Jesse Liu, is a male and is a single. Okay. So we have solved that problem, but the question asks for 3 conditions. So we can see in our presentation over here that we're supposed to look for a target customer that is a male, a single, and that has an annual income greater than 100,000. Okay, and we have used the AND function to solve that problem, but the AND function only accumulates 2 conditions. So to solve for 3 conditions, we are going to introduce another function, which is the AND operator. So let's see how we're going to solve that problem. Okay. To use the AND operator has 2 AND symbol. The AND operator has 2 AND symbols. So we can say we come over here within the AND function, and we use the if function, and then once you the if function, then the gender is equal to male. So the next thing you are going to use the AND symbol, 2 AND symbol over here. You clean your comma. So these 2 AND symbol will join these 3 conditions that we're going to be putting here. So we put the 2 AND symbol. So the next condition was customer annual must be greater than 100,000. Okay. So once these 3 conditions is written down, so you want it to if these 3 conditions are met, which is the gender must be male and the marital status must be single, and the customer annual income must be greater than 100,000. So if these 3 conditions met, we want it to display yes. We want it to display yes. So if it does not meet the condition, we want it to display no. Okay. So once you're done with that, just hit enter. So we can see our column here, the target customer. Now these 3 conditions are not met for this first row, so you can see no. So let's check whether we have the one that we have up to yes. Okay, I thought I saw the one with yes. Okay, so let's just come here into filter to check through those ones that have yes. So just click this no. So let's just click on want to have a view of the customer that met these three conditions. So just click on yes. Okay, so you can see all the customers that made these three conditions. It's written yes. So just get it back to let's just select all. Come here, select all, and you have the view of the good conditions. Okay, so you can see that we have solved that problem. Let's get to the next problem segment.